Alrighty, give everybody a chance to come on. It's time for Manifest Monday. Make sure we're doing on all the platforms. What that noise is. Okay, I'm on that one. Let me see, make sure I'm on. Just checking to make sure I'm on all the platforms that I'm supposed to be on. Just check in. Let me know that you're on. Hello, Pastor Bettina. Love your daughter. All right, I'm just checking all the other um, platforms that I'm supposed to be on to make sure that I am live on the ones that I am. How you doing, Brandy? Glad to see you. See, all right, I'm on. Got me on YouTube. I have me on all the other ones. So it's a little time delay on all of those. Hello, Pastor Jerron. Hello, Thelma. Hello, Candace. Good evening, Candace. Good afternoon to everyone else. I just want to say Aquaba Manifest Monday. Aquaba is a Ghanaian phrase which means welcome. So welcome to Manifest Monday. Hi, Tina. I want to, first of all, let me just say thank you to Pastor Jerron for holding it. How you doing, Troy? For holding it down for the 2 Mondays that I was away in Ghana. Thank you, son, for doing an awesome job. I appreciate your willingness to stand in to continue to manifest Monday so we didn't have a break. I want to thank all of you that continue to watch and listen to my son as he talked on the matters that he talked about during those 2 Mondays that I was gone. I'm so elated. The trip was fantastic. I am going, just for FYI, I'm going to do a kind of a Facebook Live, kind of a summarization of some of the things that we did while we were gone, some photos, a PowerPoint kind of presentation, talk about the trip for everybody as a whole. We're going to be doing, how you doing, Nana Antonasi? I keep getting that wrong, but I know it's Nana. I'm right about that part. Uh, um, and we will be doing that so that everybody at large can get it. We're going to be doing it after we talk to we're going to be presented with our congregation on Wednesday, those that will come to Bible study and those that watch Walking in the Word Wednesday. And then I will do one on Thursday. How you doing, Pastor Brian? To talk about it as for everybody else that may not be a part of any of that platform. But I just wanted everybody to know that we did have an awesome time. There was so much. Excuse me. There's so much. I don't really believe that there's enough time or words. Hello, Elder Melvin. Nana Kofi Antonasi. To even discuss, to even bring, to even to give you the tip of the iceberg of the things that we've done and what we learned. But I'm gonna try my best to do that on Wednesday at our church, and on Thursday on the social media platform. And I pray that you'll come on either one of those days and hear. On Wednesday, we're going to, at the Sanctuary Church, we're going to have a platform where all of us that went, the Elder Brocks and Elder Cullums, and myself and Prophetess May will be there discussing what our views was, about 10 minutes a person, talking about what our views was and what we thought about it. And if you're interested in a trip to Ghana, we're going to be doing another one next year. But if you want to get a group of people, if you got a group of 20 of your friends that want to go, I know the travel agent to hook you up with. And you just inbox me and I'll get you all the pertinent information. They are waiting there to take you, and you will have a fabulous time. All right, I've talked enough about Ghana, and that's not my purpose on today. I want to take a little shift. Hello, Prophetess Lenora. I want to take a little shift today. Normally, I talk about different things. I don't normally, as a rule, talk about leadership on Manifest Monday. But I want to talk about something I've learned. You see at the bottom, something I've learned about leadership and have the scars to prove. Something I've learned about leadership and have the scars to prove. Mark chapter 10, verses 43 to 44 says, "But it is not so among you, but whoever wishes to become great," excuse me, a time difference. And let's say you know there's a 7 hour time difference. So right now in Ghana is 11:05 at night, and it takes a while for you to adjust to the time. We've only been back since Wednesday, so it takes about 1 day for every hour for you to get your adjustment back. And I'm just now getting kind of back into a flow of being back to the regular time of California. So please forgive me. I don't mean to yawn, but that just one of those things. All right. So let me get back. Mark chapter 10, 43 through 44. "But it is not so among you, but whosoever wishes to be great among you should be your servant. Whosoever wishes to become first among you shall be slave of all." People do not want to follow. I'm sorry about that, but people do not want to follow. Everybody wants to be the big chief. Everybody wants to be in charge. You can ask anyone clamoring for a high political office. They do not want to acknowledge you as their leader and themselves as your followers. So if you have a yearning to be a leader of people, you automatically have chosen an uphill task. I just want you to know that if you want to be a leader of people, you automatically chosen an uphill task, because that's pretty much because people don't want to be led. They want people to follow them. Better to become their servant. Everyone loves to be served. So everybody want to be served, but nobody wants to serve. However, not everyone wants to serve. Only the best and the strongest can serve. It takes a lot to be a servant and to really serve with the excellence and the heart of a true servant. It takes a lot because you have to literally decrease and think more of the person than of yourself. And I don't mean you demean yourself or think low of yourself, but when you're a servant, you think about someone else more than you think about yourself. That is what it is about being a servant, and that's hard. How you doing, Sarah? That is hard because most people only think about themselves, and to be able to do that takes a lot of strength. We always say that fear. Let me forget that. Serving is a hard work. Serving runs counter to our self-centeredness. Serving demands more humility, love than most of us can summon. Think about it. Serving is hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. I remember when I was the pastor's. He used the term head usher. I was his usher. Basically, I was his adjutant, and I had to serve him. It wasn't that it was hard serving him. It was hard in the fact that people don't understand your position when you're serving. I was called as a person who was blocking people from getting to him. When I know I was protecting the anointing, I was protecting him. I know how he was feeling. I know when he was tired, but I know as a pastor, and anybody knows pastors, anybody know our hearts is that we want to give to the people. But there's times when we are drawn and dry, and there's nothing left, but we're going to give whatever it is because that's who we are. But our people that serve as adjutants and armor bearers understand that they know us. So they want to serve us and they want to make sure that we are taken care of. So it's a hard job. And it's a few that are chosen to make the mark in society. They would rather lead than to serve. Not everybody wants to be a servant. Everybody wants to be in charge. If you go around and take a poll, how many of you just want to be a servant? You don't want to be a minister. You don't want to be a pastor. You don't want to be an evangelist. You don't want to be an elder. You just want to serve. Most people are not going to do that. And I'll tell you, when I got saved and I started the journey for salvation, I had been in the military. So in my mind, there's a chain of command. There's an order here. So what's the chain? I started out in the Marine Corps as a PFC. You go Lance Corporal, Corporal, Sergeant. Excuse me. Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, and above. And so you get in the church and you see that there's deacons, there's ministers, there's elders. So my thing was, how do I get there? What is the process? Because you know how I got to be a corporal. You have to, your cutting score. sergeant, cutting school, staff sergeant, fitness reports. So how do you get to be, those positions? I didn't go in there with the mindset of serving. I went there in the mindset of, hey, how do I get in this position? But once I got to be head of the ushers, after 6 months of being saved, I got to be head of the usher department. That was a humbling of position. And I think everybody, it's almost like it's a position everybody should do in the church before they do anything. Everybody should start out as an usher, because if you want to talk about being humble, you want to talk about having people talk about you, you want to talk about being misunderstood, be an usher. And that's when I humbled myself and realized that it wasn't about being a minister, it was about serving people. And that's what got me to where I was. And I was so appreciative of that experience of being an usher. So people who serve must decide whether it's only for a short-term gain. So when you're serving, you got to understand it's not about a gain. It's about serving people. So the question is, why are you doing the serving? What is your mean? That means you're looking for quick results. If you're looking for a short-term gain for your service and it's not forthcoming, you'll shut down the service business and be moving along because ready to try another task to win, to do another win. But a true servant is one who dedicates his or her life to blessing those around them in whatever way they can. They necessarily take the long view, knowing that they may not see immediate results, may never fully appreciate, and may have to wait years to see the good they have accomplished. When you're a servant, you don't do it for immediate gratification. It's like you're the seed. It's like they say, some plant, some water, but it is God who gets the increase. When you're serving someone, you may never see the full manifestation of the importance that your servants has accomplished. You may never see the full manifestation of working in children's church, sowing into children's lives, and then one day seeing that fruit when you see them as adults and they're successful and they remember what you taught them in children's church or what you taught them in Sunday school. You may never see that, but trust me, when you serve correctly, when you do it with the right heart, there is a seed that is being planted and there is a heart. Those who serve people may decide how they will do this. Will they take a poll to find out what the crowd is clamoring for, then package the findings into some kind of program to make them think it's a bright idea or out of the goodness of the donor's heart? Or will they take the higher road and ask the Father how they should go about serving his people? That's the route you want to take. Ask God. If you're in a position, whether you're in children's church, an usher, or whether you're in audio, or whether you're in dance ministry, praise and whatever it is, you should always be asking God, what is it or how is it you want me to go about serving your people? How do you want me to serve? Paul put it this way in 2 Corinthians 4:5. He said, we preach ourselves, your servants, for Jesus' sake. We preach ourselves, your servants, for Jesus. We do this for Jesus. We don't do it for anything else. To serve people for Jesus' sake means we ask him how to serve them. We ask him how to serve them. If we want to serve people the right way, then we have to ask God how to serve his people. The best leaders do not serve in order to become leaders. The best people do not serve, the best leaders rather, do not serve in order to become leaders. They continue serving long after they're given oval offices or the title of CEOs or presidents or deans or pastors. Serving others is a way of life to them. Even after it's no longer required, they are not content to sit behind a desk or order others around to do the heavy lifting. They don't mind doing the heavy lifting. They do the desk stuff as much as necessary, but their best moments is when they're in their glory and they are with the people making their lives better. That's what a true servant is. And that's something that I've learned, lessons I've learned as a leader. That those things are important. And servants are often unseen, unknown by members of the household. They do their work, they move aside, out of the way, we have so many people at the Sanctuary Church that are work behind the scenes that nobody sees out front. I mean, if I start naming people, I'll probably miss somebody. But I'm going to just give a glimmer. I mean, we have like Danielle who does our marketing and does our put everything on RAM. We have Minister Jean who does RAM, who gets you connected with RAM. We have Minister James who just does things without even anybody knowing. He's just a servant. Those are the kind of people that serve without trying to get titles or position. They just serve because it's in their heart to do. And they often are the people that are unseen. A servant works to make others successful. That's what they do. They make others successful. That's what a servant's whole mission is, to try to make other people successful. I can say that about my adjutants that serve me. They serve me to make me look good and to make sure that I look good and make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be, to make sure that I have what I'm supposed to have, to make sure I know what I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do, and to ensure I'm at the place, to ensure I get to the airport, to ensure all those things. They don't have to do that, but they want me to be successful, and they do it out of care and concern for me. They don't get paid for it. They just do it because they love serving their pastor. And that's one of the things I think in this country, we have lost the reverence for the office of pastors because there's so many that have abused it, that we've put everybody into one category and made them all like this one or two people, the one or two bad apples, as we used to say. One of the things I learned when I was in Ghana is that they respect their pastors. I was sitting in a service on a Sunday while I was there, and the pastor was sitting down and chairs. They were sitting, I'm not going to get into all, but the pastor was sitting down, and when he got up to go up and preach and to welcome the people stood. They stood because they wanted to honor and reverence their pastor. If you would, in the United States of America, and tell people they got to stand when the pastor walks up to the podium, oh no, there would be a whole lot of argument about that. What do you mean we got to stand? I put my pants just like you do. I ain't got to stand. That don't make no sense. Why should I have to stand? That's the kind of mentality that the Western culture has. But in Africa and Ghana, it's nothing. They honor and they respect their elders. If you're an older person, you're called Papa or Mama. You're honored and reverenced. You're given a place of authority and position of wisdom because you carry the wisdom that they so greedily need. In this country, everybody knows everything. Nobody wants to listen to people because you too old, you're old fashioned, you're old fuddy duddy, you don't know. But the thing that it is that one of the reasons we have lost our culture is because we've lost connection with those who have access to the culture that we're trying to maintain. We don't even know some things about our culture because we could disconnect it from those who had the information, and now they've transitioned and we don't have what we need to know in order to be what we need to be because we have disqualified them because they're old. And I'm gonna be honest. When I was young, I had the same mind. Oh, you old, you don't know what you're talking about. You're old for that. You just trying to stop me from having fun. Hey, if somebody stuck their finger in a socket and got shocked, at age, they understood that that's something that you shouldn't do. Just because they got gray hair in their tail doesn't mean that same process doesn't work. That same principle doesn't work. We have discredited those who have because they're older and said that we don't need to listen to them. But how do you maintain a history and a culture if you don't listen to those who have the knowledge and wisdom? That's why leadership, things I've learned about leadership, this is something, and I have the scars to prove it because I've learned that I missed some things because I looked at a person's age rather than the fact that they had something to give to me. And one of the things that I've learned, and they say over there greatly, that if you're a young person and you don't have an older person as a mentor, they say that you're a fool. Now, I'm not calling anybody a fool. I'm just saying what they say. But you need to connect. There's nothing wrong with hanging around people your age or whatever, but I need to connect with people who have been where I'm trying to go, who know the stuff that I need to know that can help me from not making the same mistakes. And that is a problem because we have lost that. So now I got off my soapbox. Let me move on. Sometimes a would-be leader will say something like this. I've always wanted to be the president, the pastor, or the dean, or the supervisor, as though the ambition justified it. Beware of ambition. I need to tell you that. Beware of ambition. Beware of ambition. Pastor Bettini said that's a terrible because we stand for our senior officers and it's just giving respect. And that's right. I mean, in the military, we learned that. Hey, when the general walks, it's attention on deck. Whether I know the general, whether I like the general, whether I even heard of him, when they say attention on deck, we stand up. But if the pastor walks towards the podium to give God's word to you, and somebody tells, all right, everybody stand because the pastor is getting up, people have attitude. They probably won't come back to church, all kinds of that, but they don't have a problem standing for things that are not even as important. All right. So let me get to my 10 points because I only have 10 minutes. I got 10 points. I'm going to see if I can do this justice here. Here's some statements that sum up most about what I've learned about leadership. Number one, now I need you to hear me. Leadership is not about dominating people, but about encouraging them. Push, pause, rewind, play. I'm going to say that slow and so you can catch it. And I may be a little longer because I need to get these 10 out. So please forgive me. Leadership is not about dominating people, but encouraging them. You leave them better and stronger than you found them. You leave the people you're leading better and stronger than you found them. That's number one. Leadership is not about dominating people, but about encouraging them. Number two, leadership is not about charming people, but blessing them. Leadership is not about charming, or in other words, manipulating people, but blessing them. You may be poor for having helped them, but you know what you did is going to make a huge difference in the long run. It may cost you something. It may be painful. It may cost you money. It may cost you some time, but you know that in the long run, it's going to make a difference. So leadership is not about charming or manipulating people, but blessing them. Number three, leadership recognition is given by people voluntarily, not one are captured or snared by someone with a great personality traits. We have this tendency in our country to reward people that we like, not because they're professional, good workers, not because they do good work or because they show up on time, but because we like their personality. That's an easy person. They talk and we like that. They're charming. They're pleasant. So we have a tendency to lean towards them rather than the worker who may not talk to you. He may not go and hang out with you and have tea and crumpets. He may not go to Starbucks with you, but he will have the work done on time. He will be on time to work. He will come back from lunch on time. He will do what he needs to do to accomplish the task, even if it takes him a long time. And he will not ask you about time because it's not about the time. It's about accomplishing the mission. And that's the kind of thing that we need to know. Leadership recognition is given by people voluntarily. They're not trying to capture something. They're just trying to do their job. Number four, the leader will have a greater accountability. At judgment, a lot of people will find themselves wishing they had smaller responsibility. Luke 12:43 said, woe unto him, much is given, much will be required. You have to take responsibility as a leader. Accountability. You're accountable. If you're over something and something doesn't go right as a leader, you take accountability. It's not necessarily the way I learned it in the military, but I know that you take accountability. You know, it wasn't necessarily me that did it, but I'm over it, so I take responsibility. I remember we was in Applebee's and a lady behind us was complaining about the service and how slow it was and how long it took her to get the food. So she asked the waitress. Waitress was apologizing. She said, oh, I forgot. I didn't think it was going to take that long. I should have checked, whatever. She said, do you want to talk to the manager? The lady said, yes. So the manager comes and the manager, I'm thinking the manager going to say, I apologize. But, they do their usual thing. You want a dessert. My food late. I don't want late dessert either. But, you want dessert. No, I don't want dessert. I just wanted to bring it to it's just, we just can't get anybody. We can't hire anybody. Nobody want to work. And we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm like, what? You just dishonored your whole staff that's working for you because you didn't want to take responsibility as a manager. As a manager, you should say, hey, I'm sorry. I apologize that we did not deliver to your expectation. I will make sure that we try to do that in the future. But no, he threw all his workers under the bus. That's not taking responsibility. The leader has a bullseye on his back. The arrows and darts will come your way. It's a part of the price you pay. If you cannot handle that, you took the wrong road. As a leader, darts coming your way. As a leader, misunderstanding coming your way. As a leader, lying on you is coming your way. As a leader, these things are going to happen. So as a leader, you need to understand, if you're not willing to be lied on, if you're not willing to be talked about, if you're not willing to be misunderstood, if you're not willing to be have to go through some things and some trials, then maybe leadership is not for you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to understand that these are the things that comes with leadership. Leadership means I have to fall on the sword. Leadership means that I'm gonna have a bullseye on my back. Leadership means people are going to not understand my purpose. I may have been told by the pastor to do this, but I have to take the responsibility because I'm a pastor, an elder, a minister, and I'm going to do, like when I was in the Marine Corps and we did something, we went to a meeting, a staff meeting, and we called the old man. The commander would say, hey, the captain would say, or the colonel would say, hey, this is what I want done. When we left the meeting and we had to go back and follow out the orders that were given, I didn't go back to my people and go, well, that old colonel, he wants us to do it. I don't really feel that. No, hey, this is what we're going to do. I didn't ask you that. I said, this is what we're going to do. And that's how I presented it. I didn't present it as it coming from somebody else. And they may got grumbled and mumbled on their way to doing it. They blame me for it, and I know it wasn't my idea. I may not agree with it. I'll voice my opinion at the meeting, but when the final word is the colonel said, that's what we're going to do, my thing became secondary, his thing became primary. And that's what we, that was good. That's what we got to do. And that's what we need to do. Number 6, the leader must have faithful colleagues and lieutenants to share the load. He cannot do everything expect required. He cannot do everything expected and then be alone. The leader is the captain of a great team. The leader is a captain of a great team. Football player, they have a captain of the team. Basketball, there's a captain. There's always someone who's taking the responsibility for the team. And you cannot, regardless if you're the captain of the basketball team, if you don't have 4 other people on the court, you don't have a team. And I think that's what the leadership is missing. They think that leadership rises and falls upon them. They think that that's because they're there that makes it happen. But you have to have people to produce what you're trying to get done. If you don't have people producing what you get done to do, you're just somebody standing there by yourself. And one of the things I learned in leadership, and I got in a lot of trouble for it, but I had some of the best Marines in the fact that we got done what we need to do, because I didn't have always good Marines. But I motivated them to do the stuff that was necessary because I identified them and I said, hey, look, I helped them. I build them up. I didn't talk down on them. I didn't say you to unfit, unnecessary. Hey, look, as a group, as a team, this is what we need to get done. I passed my inspections. Everything went good because it was us that was passing the inspection, not me. If there was an award given to me, I said, this is for us, not for me, for us, because I could not have done it without you. As a leader, you need to get this. And if you don't get anything else I said tonight, you need to get this and get it good. As a leader, appreciate the people that are working for you because they make you look good. Appreciate the people that are working for you because they make you look good. You're not all that. You're not all that and a bag of chips. You need people to help you accomplish your mission. I know God called me to be the pastor of the Sanctuary Church. I know that he chose me after his own heart, but I'm also smart enough to know that I cannot take the Sanctuary Church to the places the Sanctuary Church need to go without people doing the task. I delegate. I'm responsible, but I delegate to others to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. I delegate it to them with the authority to accomplish what I've given them. I tell them what I want done. I give them the authority, the delegation to get it done, and I don't try to make them do it my way. That was one of my biggest mistakes as a leader, and I need you to hear me. One of the biggest mistakes that I started out as a leader is I expected everybody to do it my way, and not Frank Sinatra doing it my way. Everybody, the end results of anything as a leader is did it get accomplished what was supposed to be accomplished? Maybe they didn't go to the left, they went to the right, but did they get to the place they were supposed to go? And as leaders, we got to understand that everybody is not going to do it your way. And for me, somebody that's straight like this and like things done, that's a hard thing. But I understand that it is necessary as a leader that I have to understand that everybody is not going to do it my way. And here's something that shocked me. My way is not necessarily the right way. It's just a way. Uh-oh. Your way is not necessarily the right way. It's just a way. And when leaders understand that, they'll have better people following them and willing to do whatever is necessary rather than making them feel like you're superior and they're inferior. Let me leave that at the door. Don't ever try to make yourself appear to be superior to the people that are working for you and making them feel inferior. That is not the way of good leadership. We're on a team together, working towards a common goal. I just was blessed by God to be the leader of this situation. Nothing special. I'm just appointed by God to do this, appointed by the pastor to do this. We are going to work to get this accomplished. We are a team. One of the things I remember when I took over as head usher of this church I first joined is that they came just in all disarray. And I said, okay, we want to represent something. Now I had a lot of pushback, but I say, okay, we're going to have uniform, not in the sense of, so we're going to have white shirts, ties, skirts, and gray. We're going to have blue. I'm sorry. We're going to have blue, gray, and black. That was a big color: skirts and slacks, white shirts, blue ties, gray ties, black ties. All that's what we. So when they walked in, we represented a entity that looked professional, and they mumbled about it and whatever. But eventually, they started realizing it made them feel better. It felt like there was a part of something because we all looked the same and we all were trying to do the same thing. All right, number 7. Loyalty is a huge part of leadership. The guy at the top is loyal to his team members and they to him. He has to earn their respect and loyalty before he can demand the same from them. You can't demand what you don't give. You can't demand loyalty and respect from people that you don't respect and give loyalty to. Loyalty and respect is a two-way street. Yeah, you're in charge. You're the big dog. You're in charge, but you need to respect the people that are working with you. Because I'm going to tell you that if you don't show people the respect that they deserve, when the situation, the rubber meets the road, they may leave you high and dry. Because remember, you have to take responsibility. They could have did that and fixed it, but no, you're the leader. You didn't show no respect. Show the people respect that are working for you and be loyal to them. Don't do like that manager and throw them under the bus. Be loyal to them. Somebody says something, hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm that's not Gene. I'm going to have to, I don't listen to people tell me something. Well, so no, we're not going to hear that. We got to stay loyal to the people that work for us. Number 8. You need to match people's gift. These are things that I've learned and have the scars to prove it. You have to match people's gifts, talents, interests, and abilities with the right job, and responsibility is one of the greatest chores and accomplishment of a true leader. In most cases, it is called delegation. You see Barnabas doing it in Acts 11 and 25 when he matched Saul and Tarsus with the situation in Antioch. Let me tell you this. Matching people's gift, talents, and interests and abilities with the right job is paramount as a leader. Now, in the beginning, and even in our beginning as a ministry, a lot of times in an organization, you may not have the exact people to do the right things, but you got people that are willing to do the job. So you take those that are willing to do the job and you pray God sends you those with the ability to do the job. And then you have to some way, like I know Pastor Obed Martinez of Destiny Church said he never fired anyway. He graciously moved them to go in another direction. You don't have to fire people. Just be kind enough, show them another way. Hey, I know you've been doing this, but I know you have this. Well, you ever thought about doing this? And people who don't really want to do something will just gradually gravitate to where you want them to go. You don't have to get up there and say you're fired. That's not really necessary. Some people know that they're not doing a good job, but they don't want to admit it, and they don't want to feel like they're a failure. And we don't help them by telling them, you best up. No, help them to find the right gifting and talents. If a person can't sing, don't put them on the praise and worship team for them to fail. If a person can't hold a hammer and hit a nail without hitting his thumb, his fingers, his arm, he's not the person to work in maintenance. He may be the person that help you pick up the trash outside, but he's not the person to do any nailing. We got to make sure we get the right people for the right job. Number 9, leaders are not born. I know that sounds, they say they are born, he was born like this. They earn the title by their hard work. Leaders earn their title by their hard work. When you look at any successful leader, they did it by hard work. They did it by putting the time in. They did it by being whatever was necessary to accomplish the mission. They did it with hard work. If you want to be a successful leader, if you want to be a leader that people respect and that honor and that you're going to get things done, you got to understand that it's going to take hard work. I remember a lot of times I've been put in situations, taking over organizations that were failing, and I had to take them and make them flourish. But it was hard work. I remember one job I took as a Marine Corps Family Team Building Director. It was a new position. The Marine Corps created it. And I had a new staff, and we were supposed to come to work on Monday, but we didn't have desks. And some desks were delivered, but they weren't assembled on a Saturday. Me, in most cases, it was by myself. I'm trying to remember if Prophetess May was there or not, but I know in most cases on me and maybe one other person put the desk together so that on Monday when my employees came to work, they had a desk. We may not have had offices. We might have had to share offices together. As a manager, I had to share office with one of my employees, but they had a desk because I wanted them to have something to symbolize them as important. I put the desk together. I didn't call them up and tell them to come in. I didn't wait on Monday and say, hey, you put your desk together. I put the desk together because leadership, being a leader, you earn the title by hard work. Number 10, and I'm almost done. The leader must stay current, on what's happening, in touch with his team, adapted to change, and either or both. You got to be adaptable to change. We use in the Marine Corps, we say adjust, adapt, and overcome. I say adjust, adapt, and conquer. Adjust to whatever you need to, adapt to where you need to adapt, but conquer whatever the situation is. And leadership is a never-ending challenge. You're not that good as a leader. I don't care how great you are, you can still learn. I've been doing leadership for years, and I'm still learning leadership because it's a never-ending challenge. It's a never-ending challenge. We should always be careful about taking the designation of leader to ourselves. Luke 22:27 says, "O Lord Jesus, who can have had every title?" Our Lord Jesus. Let me get to Luke 27. I got ahead of myself. Our Lord Jesus, who could have had every title and deserved all power and authority, said this in Luke 22:27. I among you as one who serves. He said, I didn't come to serve, to be served. I come to serve. I'm not here. Yes, I'm the Son of the living God. Yes, I'm all of that. But I didn't come here for that. I came here to be a servant to you. Nothing our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ said about servanthood has affected me the way the parable in Luke 17:7 through 10 does. At the end, when we all have done all the things he commanded us, Jesus said we should say, I am only an unworthy servant just doing my duty. That right there is the top, the most important thing. It says, I am only an unworthy servant just doing my job. We are here to say these words to ourselves. We are to tame the restless yearning inside of us that clamors for recognition and reward by constantly putting it back into place. Back. You're only an unworthy servant just doing your duty. We're not to say that to one another. We're to give honor to one another where honor is due. We ought to appreciate men. Nor does God say that to us. He says, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Catch it. Faithful servant. He didn't say, well done, thy good and faithful elder. Well done, thy good and faithful pastor. He didn't say, well done, thy good and faithful leader, a minister, evangelist, prophet, teacher. He said, well done, thy good and faithful servant. I'm only an unworthy servant, just doing my duty. Somebody need to type that in. Just type in, I'm only an unworthy servant, just doing my duty. I'm only an unworthy servant, just doing my duty. Keep saying it to yourself. It's a shortcut to sanity. It's a cure for the ego. It's a simple way to please God and remain useful to him and usable by him. I'm only an unworthy servant, just doing my duty. That's powerful. If you can wrap yourself around it. Thank you, Prophetess Lenora. Thank you, Pastor Bettina. Thank you, Jerron, Pastor Jerron. If you can wrap your mind around that, that is a powerful statement. When you start thinking, thank you, Sean. When you start thinking about that, when you start putting it in perspective, it'll keep you, thank you, Jay, Pastor Jay, it'll keep you from getting arrogant. It'll keep you from being pompous and puffed up. It'll keep you from thinking that you're entitled. I'm only an unworthy servant, just doing my duty to serve others, to be a blessing to others, to help others, to encourage others. That's powerful. That's really powerful. I mean, right now, it's just making my spirit leap, just thinking about how powerful that statement is. I pray that you that are on here today will understand and share this with someone else, please. I forgot to say that in the beginning. But I pray that this powerful statement will resonate with you. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Henrietta. It will resonate with you to understand that we're not all of that. And even myself, as a pastor, as a bishop, as a apostle, with doctorate degrees and all of that, I am but an unworthy servant, just doing my duty. I'm not all that in a bag of chips. I'm not all that special. I'm not I'm not trying to lift myself up. I am an unworthy servant, just trying to do my duty. I'm sorry, I'm way over time. I'm out of message, but I'm out of minutes, rather, but I'm not out of minutes. Thank you, though, for those who hung around for this extra time. I pray that it was a blessing to you. I pray that you learned something from this. I pray that it was worth your time to put a little extra time in it. I thank you for being on here. I love you to life, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as I say at the church where I preach the most, at the Sanctuary Church, let's go to work.